All right. Good morning. Good morning. It is 6:33. I apologize for being a little late. I know that I like to be on time, but just getting my legs back under me after being gone for a few days. Thanks for everybody for wishing me a safe travels. Anyway, I spoke about it yesterday, so I'm not going to get in it. It's good to be away, but it's much better to be in the routine. It was awesome waking up this morning, doing my 200 reps in my sauna, and then jumping in the ice barrel and getting the routine back intact. So at this point, you got to take a quick look at the disclosure. There you go. This way, compliance is happy. Scan the whole thing, and now let's go back. My name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to the 6:30 Club, where I try and go over what's moving, the keys to the day, where we can make some money, how we could situate for the rest of the week, things that are happening. Also, we all work on our process, so we can do this every day. Let me say hello to some of my dogs around the world. We got some comments coming through. We got Space Specialist in the house. The Monarch is here. We got Don. Good morning. What up, Steve? What's up, Safari Trades? How's that Miss 5000 doing? What up, Tony? Yeah, you know what? Felt like a long trip. It wasn't that long. I left literally, Thursday around 12 o'clock, so I was able to come in, do my work. I think I did a 6:30 Club on that Thursday. I had a bunch of positions I wanted to go into the end of the week, sold some premium, and it's good when you're away when things work out. It doesn't always happen that way. Usually when you go on vacation, you should close most things out so this way you're not thinking about it and you're actually enjoying yourself. Last thing you want to do is be worried going down a Black Diamond in Aspen and all of a sudden think about Nvidia and start tumbling down on moguls. Now, the best part of skiing is you have to really be so concentrated, and you drown out the rest of the world. It's just you and nature, and it's very therapeutic. Anyway, what up, Jack? What up, Bill? What up, Dunks? How's it feeling? I actually motivated last night. I went to the Knick game. My friend was doing a charity event, and I told him I would go. So not only did I freaking commute all day Sunday into coming into work yesterday, I went back and I shaved and I did a little video, and I went to a great event. Great event. Basically, this charity, community police relations, where they raise a lot of money for areas around the world or the country. Even like Thanksgiving, they give out like hundreds of turkeys, but instead of the organization giving out, the police give it out, so it bridges the gap and gets individuals familiar with the police in their neighborhood and builds communities. And I thought it was a great charity. But anyway, what's up, Sam? What up, Roger? It's good to be out and mix it up. So this morning, futures are up. 22 handles, just like that. Everyone's like, oh, how could we have seen the futures up like this? I'm like, I don't know. End of the month, end of the quarter. All we really did is pull back from last Thursday's high in the SPYs to almost the 8-day. And if you look here, let's go to the chart of the SPYs. So you hit a high of 524. Look how extended we were. So this was day 3 higher. So it kind of filled this gap, came into 519.60. We're not even at the 8-day. So with that being said, a nice, healthy, controlled pullback, right? I guess a lot of people. It's so weird. Everybody it sounds so smart to be bearish. If you're like optimistic, glass half full, people think you're like a puppy dog. But anyway, I'm the red dog, and I try and be a realist, and I try and stick with trends, and the trend has been strong. Qs also, really strong trend. It kind of was a little bit of a fake out by trying to get above and couldn't, but it gave you at least it gave you, they sold strength after 3 days. And what did this do? Hey, look, just came into the 8-day. So, how bearish are things? Not too bearish. You could have had a Bible pullback in Bitcoin. Gold and silver were a little tricky, I'll be honest. But either which way, there are definitely some things that are still moving. Let's just go front and center. Nvidia. Nvidia's been like my bread and butter, all the way back from the start here when it, took out that, that big channel or whatnot, and then the trend has just been awesome. So to me, the question is, what's going to happen here? Are we going to see 974 before the end of the month, before the end of the quarter, or not? So I am long some Nvidia. Nvidia is up like 7. So if you bought the pullback into the end of the day, you trim a little bit up 7, book a little cash flow, and then we see if this will wind up taking this out. It's going to be hard to say. It might need a little bit of time up here. It might not. Well, yesterday's high was what, 967. So you put 967 here, and that's your new point of reference. A little bit below 974. So at this point, would I be buying and chasing Nvidia up 7? Well, I would wait to see how things, kind of open and work out. But all in all, it's been, if you're long from the Red Dog reversal at 861, 871 when they had the huge, keynote, you did pretty damn well. So with that being said, I'm also in a call spread. I might even put on a call spread for next Friday, just because we have the PCE on Friday. You have Powell speaking, and some new flows monthly, quarterly. So we might need that in order for this to take this out. So anyway, I've been like buying like the thousands and selling the 1,050s, 3 times. So I've been paying for the time and staying long. So all of a sudden, keeps you in. It's been good. I'm at the highs of my quarter, my high water mark. I'm feeling good, feeling healthy. So hopefully those of you that follow me, I know the Alpha team's doing well. Everyone's, moving around doing their thing. We talked about Micron, how, you had another pro earnings gap, how wound up giving you 107.04, which was one day into the gap and reclaimed 108.78. And if you bought the dip, you could have been a buyer when it reclaimed 108.78 and then added for cash flow when it took out 113.50, wound up going as high as 121.41. I was actually a little groggy and I missed it, but a lot of guys in the Alpha team caught it, and I go over this type of strategy for earnings a lot. It's a great way, if you didn't take it into numbers, figuring out how to weigh. Yeah, market's closed Friday. It's all right, Neve. You're allowed to have the market closed. Go do something fun. Get outside, go for a run. I'm probably going to go to my friends. We're going to have like Russian Banya Day, where we spend 3-4 hours, sweating in the sauna, talking about stories, going in. We might even go in the water. Like instead of the ice barrel, he's right he's right by in the South Shore, Long Island, but we'll see. Anyway, you want me to look at the IWM? All right, so the IWM, we'll switch a gear here. It's IWM to me has been very choppy. It's been like hard money. So I haven't been as focused here. I was pretty focused on the IWM, like right around here when it looked like we were going to break out and go on our way to 213, went as high as 210.41, kind of did a Red Dog reversal. And now, it's not the end of the world that they sold a little strength again. All in all, it's taking its time, and it might wind up, getting above this and going. The bios haven't been so great either. So, there's been a lot of tricky, tough money out there. It's not all, sunshines and rainbows, right? It never is. Even Bitcoin, when Bitcoin got above that 69,000 and stayed above it, went to 73. A lot of people thought that was the beginning of the ramp, and then boom, from 73 back below 65,000. I will say that we did a good job. Like here's the Alpha team, okay, which I don't have a whole lot going on, but what paid me while I was away was I was buying IBIT into last week's dip. Crazy thing is I had to stop because I was gone, and I thank goodness they didn't stop me out. So that wound up being a great trade from buying a dip Thursday, Friday into yesterday. Also, remember we were talking about buying, options, and everyone was yelling at me because I was buying the BITO calls for April 12th into. I'm like, you have to buy on weakness because the BITO options have such a big spread. So anyway, that wound up being good. I didn't play Mr. It was just crazy. You can't be trading Nvidia, AMD, ARM, and trading Mr. and coin. There's just not enough bandwidth out there. So pick and choose your battles. So anyway, that worked really well. I did, I'm long Amazon, which is back above 180. It's been a pain in the butt, but it's fine. Baidu I put on yesterday just because of the Apple AI news gets a little traction. I do have leftover silver. So silver had a really nice move, and I sold like 50-60% of it into that ramp. And then last week they sold gold and silver. It got a little tricky, but is what it is. Even this little Tilray, remember we were buying some option sweeps. So I was buying Tilray calls when the stock was like $1.80 and it went to $2.35. Those options were up 200. So it's a lot of different types of things, So if you're not just sitting there looking for a top and calling for a bear market and saying this isn't going to end well, there's lots of setups out there. Anyway, and I just yesterday sold a little 524 premium just to have a little bit of a hedge on. So this was my my call spread for this week for Nvidia, which might not work, but so far I've managed it. I have the thousands, and I sold the 1,030s and the 1,050s more than the long side, and I'll manage it. If all of a sudden we start ramping, I'll buy more Nvidia to cover the extra short and continue to manage it. AMD. So AMD I thought was interesting yesterday. What happened to my chart? Let's go back to TrendSpider. So AMD, over the weekend, I'm sitting there on the slopes, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, did you see the news with China? They're banning AMD chips. They're banning Intel chips." I'm like, "Well, didn't they do that with Nvidia?" And it was down for a day and a half. So everyone kind of got a little bit, they settled down a little bit. And what'd you have yesterday? It went below 174, came back above it. It gave me a nice viable spot. So I did not play it. I was long Nvidia. I was trying to think, what are they going to do? Are they going to buy Nvidia because now there's more room there because they're not going with AMD? But anyway, I just traded around that. And at this point, AMD has not been easy. AMD gave you like a red dog reversal, here, which got above 214.81, couldn't hold it, and then at least if you get out of the way there, you had your gap down, and then they've been selling strength since. So at this point, we'll see what happens. I think AMD's up a bunch this morning. It's been tough money. AMD has been tough money. Believe it or not, I think Nvidia's been much easier, and even SMCI. I don't know if you guys remember with SMCI last week, into the 875, 2 million shares, I was selling premium below. I was selling 820s, 840s. My buddy Sklar, I remember I gave him a little shout out. He was selling the 900 puts, and guess what? He kept all that premium. Anyway, it worked its way back up. This is not the easiest stock to trade either, but right back to where, broke the 1135. It's probably coming right into there right now. It's at 1070, but nice little snapback. I got to readjust this chart. But again, people like Red Dog, SMCI is way too tough to trade, which I get. Again, if you're trading a lot of things, there are certain names where you have to hyper focus on that, or it's so difficult you could be right, but you lose money because you're paying spreads, you have too much size, and this has been a little bit tough. You think Oxy looks interesting? Oxy's been interesting. Switch gears to energy. Oxy's been trending up. This has been a power play. Guys are just sitting in it as a swing. I showed you guys the weekly chart yesterday. It looks like the weekly chart's got some room to at least the 70 area. It's been in a channel for literally almost 2 years. The XLE is knocking on the door of its upper channel, right into this 93. A lot of people started to talk about energy. Most that are in our community, started buying when it cleared at 84-ish. Now you're back at 93-ish. So, there's more than just 6, 7 names out there. Everyone loves to be smart. Oh, well, it's only the Magnificent Seven. The Magnificent Seven haven't been the Magnificent Seven for like 2 months. If you have the 7 names, I always make an order. Apple's been at the bottom of it now. Tesla's been at the bottom of it now. Meta has gotten a little wishy-washy. Amazon, I still think, looks set up. Google, some people are like, what about Google? Well, Google's kind of hanging here. Let me get to the daily chart. This was that big gap up. If you remember, they had the big AI news. So this is kind of setting up again to maybe clear this 152 to 153. If you want it to be long, it could be long versus 146-ish area. And then, make this even a little bit of a bigger channel. So there's been things going on, but it hasn't just been the Magnificent Seven. I just saw something on, the chart report, showing how the equal weight S&P is now up 25% since the lows, and the S&P is up 28. So it's only 3% off the equal weight from, the regular that's supposed to be only controlled by the Magnificent Seven. So everyone's talking a little smack. Anyway, ARM, ARM was a little tricky. Took off fast yesterday and then came in a little bit off highs. I think that this is more of a swing type trade where, you can't really micromanage it. It feels like at times you're helpless, where all of a sudden if you paid up for it, it pulls in a few dollars, and then if you have too much size, you're that you're getting a little messed with. But all in all, big upper wedge. Looks like it's heading back towards 149, 164. Guys wanted me to go over Reddit yesterday. I missed Reddit. Damn it. What a great IPO. Even if you didn't like the company, you don't like the community, doesn't really matter. Take your likes and dislikes out of the market. Look at the chart. Reddit wound up having a really big day. I did the chart. What did we do the chart though? Did we do the 2-hour chart yesterday? No, we did the hour chart? Yeah. So anyway, this was the first day that Reddit came public. This was your high. Consolidated, had an inside flag. This was a good buy area. And then we spoke about if we could take out the post IPO high, there's a lot of people caught short, and you could probably have a nice move. And if you went with Reddit, it was a good piece of business. You made yourself $5, book some, hold some, and make sure it holds 61.94. If it doesn't hold 61.94, you know what, then maybe it's losing some momentum. But either which way, nice little, you know, take home for some of you guys. I didn't do it again. I was away for the weekend. I missed the day it came public, and yesterday I was, you know, a little bit too involved, you know, in Nvidia and some of the semis to be looking at that also. So with that being said, you know, there's a lot going on. You know, you have the end of the quarter is coming up in the next few days. We'll see how they want to mark them. And then you have new flows to start next week. You have the PC and Powell Friday when the markets close. So only take what you can handle. Hopefully you're playing crypto a little bit here and there. You're trading the small caps here and there, some bios here and there, some silver and gold here and there, some Nvidia, ARM, and AMD, and SMCI, or every now and then you have the Magnificent Seven. The only way you could do all this is if you get your ass out of bed and start preparing early in the morning. Like yesterday, I went right from a red eye to the office at 9:15, and I was lost. I took it slow. I was managing positions and options. You know, I was like, I can't believe people who don't wake up and put the entire morning together. You know, I'm up every day at 4:45, not only to, you know, to give content to those of you who are watching, but for me to look at all the charts, get all the multiple plans in my head. So this way, when the market opens, I know what I'm looking for. You know, the market does, you know, certain scenarios. I know how to execute with confidence, and that's how, you know, you can make a career out of this, by being prepared, having a routine and a system that works for you. And anyway, if you listen to this, you're probably doing that. So congratulations to you. I do have options on BITO. I also have IBIT. You know, last Thursday, Friday was probably the better time to buy it. Now I might need a day to chill out. The Reddit chain just got listed yesterday. Okay, just be careful. You know, I remember when Robinhood came out, you know, it actually gave you really good trading for like a week or two. And then when it failed, it failed. There are a lot of bad holders there. So make sure you know your levels, use your tier system, and don't overstay your welcome. At this point, I have a lot of charts I got to do. I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. And I'll see you guys tomorrow morning or during the course of the day on the Alpha team, where we all hang out, talk about what's happening, look at different levels, and try and navigate the day. And I'm going to put on some music and do about 40 charts. Later, guys. Thanks for tuning in.